Okay, chapter 3 of writing proofs. This is writing proofs 102. We did Y, then we did writing proofs 101. Now this is the next level. All right, there's two properties that you need to know, and people, in my experience, mix these two up a lot, okay? Substitution is, for instance, if you had like A equals B and 2B equals C, then what you can do is, because A equals B and you have a B right here, you can plug in A for that. You can substitute it for that. Okay? So that is substitution. A can go in there, so then you could write 2A equals C. Now the transitive property is a little bit different. The transitive property is like if A equals 2C and I don't know, D equals A. So do you see what you're doing here? Is one entire side of the equation equals one entire side of the other equation. It's not one piece of this getting substituted in here for one piece. This is just one side of, it's one piece of that side. It's not the entire side. But when you have this, I like lining it up like this. If D equals A and A equals 2C, then see right here, you can kind of like cut out the middleman, and this equals that. D equals 2C. Is that on camera? So that's the transitive property. If one entire side equals one entire side. So let's do a couple practices using either the substitution or the transitive property. Here's my first one I'm going to give you. Let's say that given x equals 2y and y equals z, prove 2x equals 4z. So the first thing you should do in a proof is try to kind of map this out in your mind. Think about where you're going. You don't want to just launch out there. You don't want to start a journey and not have some destination. Okay, you're going to wander around and just not get anywhere. So try to map out some steps in your mind. So I can see that, okay, I see that there's a y equals z here. I'm going to eventually want x equals z. So I've got x, but I see that I can stick in, instead of y here, I can stick in z. Then I get x equals 2z. And I think I can get where I want to go. So I'm just going to start like we always do. Statement, reason, number 1, x equals 2y. Number 2, y equals z. And I don't mind if you just kind of lump those together and you just say given for both of those. Now, number 3, remember where I was going. I was saying, oh, you could substitute in here. So instead of a y, I'm going to put in the z. X equals 2z. Now that is substitution, because I'm not doing a whole side, I'm just doing one little piece of that side. So my reason is going to be substitution. Now this is why I'm numbering the steps, because you want to kind of keep track of where you're substituting at. I'm substituting in, I'm using this step, and I'm using this step. So I'm just going to say 1 and 2. And you see, I'm almost where I want to go. I just need to double it now. So 2 times x equals 2 times 2z. And the reason for that is the multiplicative property. And lastly, you just want to simplify, make it 2x equals 4z. And the reason for that is simplify. Okay, look at that. See if that makes sense to you. Again, it's just it's one little baby step more than what we did yesterday. It's still using the properties, still simplifying, but we just threw in a substitution. Let's do one that's a transitive property. Okay, so if we have given, I'm going to try to write this a little higher this time, a equals 2 over b and c equals a. Prove b equals 2 over c. So take a moment, kind of try to map it out. I can see that it's almost in this form, but some things are going to have to be moved around here. I can also see that something equals a and something equals a. So that kind of gives me a hint that I'm going to use the transitive property. So I think I have a pathway in my mind. Do you have one? Let's start with writing down what we have. A equals 2 over b. And step 2, c equals a. And the reason again is given. It would be perfectly fine if you just wanted to write 1 given, 2 given. You could write that twice if you wanted. So now what I'm thinking is, because these both equal a, I'm going to use the transitive property because eventually I want c on one side and b on the other. And I can do that if I do the transitive property here. So I can put c equals 2 over b. Okay, 2 over b equals a, c equals a. So cut out the middleman, c equals 2 over b. Transitive. And it's going to be steps 1 and 2. Remember to look where you're going. We kind of want the b's and the c's to be switched. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to multiply by b over here and here. So c times b equals 2 over b times b. And that's the multiplication property. Step 5, bc equals, this is going to make the b's go away, 2. Simplify. Now, I just want to divide by c to get it over on that side. Step 6, b equals 2 divided by c. Oh, sorry, I can't really do that. See, I skipped a step there. I've got to divide both sides by b. Sorry, by c. So bc divided by c equals 2 divided by c, and that is the division property. And now I can simplify and get b equals 2 over c, and the reason is simplify. Okay? So my best advice is look at what they've given you, look where you're going. In your mind, try to make a little roadmap. And sometimes you can't maybe see all the way to the end. But you can say, okay, I've got some clues here that make me think I'm going to go in this direction. And once you get a little further toward where you're going, then you can say, oh, now I see the next little bit ahead. Okay? It's like you're on a road, at night, and your headlights shine a little bit ahead, and you think, okay, I'll go down there. Then you take the corner, and then you can see a little further ahead. That's sometimes how you're going to have to do it with some of these more complicated proofs. You won't be able to string it all together in your mind all at once. But you can read the clues, go further, read more clues, go further, and remember to give every little step. Don't skip like I was going to do there. In my mind, I could tell, oh, I'm going to divide and get rid of that B, but you can't skip a step. Okay, there is writing proofs 102. We'll do another session of this tomorrow.